Hi guys, Joe Protocol here and welcome to another tip video. This time I'm going to be doing a tip on a drum and bass snare, and a very particular type of drum and bass snare, which is this really big metallic style of snare that you hear. Sounds a little something like this. So to be making this snare today, I'm going to be using a couple of the samples from my sample pack, which you can check out on my Bandcamp below. If you want to get some samples for your library, then please check out the link below. Check out some of the sample packs I have there. I recently released a Vital preset pack as well. So if you're using that synth, check that pack out as well. And if you've ever benefited from any of my videos and you want to give a small donation, then please feel free to check out the PayPal link below. I would accept any donation there for any of the videos I've done. Suggested donation between 5 and 20 euros, let's say, because anytime I get a little bit of money from you guys really encourages me to make more videos like this. So any support there, I'm really appreciative of. Alternatively, just like the video, subscribe to the channel, and help this video reach more people. But let's just go ahead and jump into this tip now. So when it comes to making a sound like this, it's really important that you choose the right samples. So to get this metallic sound, you need a snare which has this metallic ring in it, basically. And I like to layer it with something which is a bit more simple, like just a snare with a bit more presence, to give the overall snare a bit more presence. So I happen to have one of these snares in my sample pack, volume 2, and this is snare 3. So you hear that it's got that metallic sound, and let's bring this guy in on the second beat. And one thing I wanted to show you about these metallic snares is that a lot of the ringing is actually in the tail. So this is a sample that you need to leave quite long. Don't shorten it to make it snappy. I'll show you the difference when you bring down the tail quite a bit. And now I bring the tail back in. So it's important that you keep that ring in there. Don't keep it short, keep it long. And I'm going to layer it with snare number 5. Which is a much simpler snare, as I said, just got a little bit of snap. So when you play the two together, they sound like this. Great, so when you're working with layers, it's really important to get a good balance between the two. I'm going to bring down the snappier snare a little bit more. So there's our balance now, and the snare is out of the red. So let's move on to EQ. So you can enhance this ringing sound with a little bit of EQ. So all we need to do is drop in. Let's go for Fab Filter. So yeah, we're going to play this snare through, and I'm just going to scan through the frequency bands in the top frequencies to find where this ringing is, just to bring the ringing out a bit more. So there you go, I found the ringing of the snare. It's 1222 Hertz approximately. Just want to bring down the output level so that we're not running into the red anymore. So there you go, just some light EQ enhancement can enhance that ringing. And next, I just want to gel the two sounds together using a bit of compression. So now I'll set up a group here in Ableton, and I'm going to go ahead and search for the Denise Audio Dragonfire compressor. I really like this compressor. This is what's called a tonal compressor. You can essentially choose along the spectrum where you want to affect more the compression across the frequency spectrum. It's a bit similar to multi-band compression. So let's play this snare. So there you go, that's the point where you're starting to hear the compression really working. So I just want to kind of focus on the lower frequencies a bit more than the higher frequencies. I just want the bottom ends to just kind of gel together a bit. There you go. When you up this kind of node here, you essentially drive this into the compressor a little bit more. So I just kind of want to focus on the low end rather than the top. Leave the top kind of open, but the low end a bit more gelled together. And you've got this kind of push-pull thing where you kind of push the frequencies into the compressor, and then you kind of have this opposing pull, which creates a nice little effect. So when the pull's at 100%, there's nothing. When the pull's at 0, it's kind of fully affected. But it's always good to find a little balance in between the two. You hear that you've created like a more well-rounded lower end. And I'm just going to make a small adjustment to the release here. Attack's good. So now you've got a much snappier low end there. So that's compression. And lastly, on the list of things, I would say it's always good to add a little bit of plate reverb, because plate reverb is a bit different from your regular room type reverbs in that it doesn't really put it into like a specific space. It just adds a kind of reverberant effect to it. So that's why I like to use plates on something like a snare. So for this one, I'm going to go for the Sound Toys little plate. Put it on the return sound channel here, because you want to send it from your insert to your return, so you keep the presence of the snare bus, and you just add this reverb as a parallel channel essentially. So let's set this. I'm going to keep this really low as possible, and cut the low end so we don't get any kind of conflicting frequencies. So here's the plate. Here's without, of course, and with again. So that's reverb. So yeah, we can just tie everything together now with a couple of extra drums, just to give you an idea of how this drum sounds in context with a whole drum loop. And there you go, that's a kind of very quick idea using that snare drum, just to give you an idea of how it will sound in context. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you want to give a financial contribution to some of the videos I've made, feel free to donate in the link below or grab a sample pack, and I will see you in the next video.